Favor's sleepwalking continued. Every night, she would find a way to escape her grandmother's watchful eye and wander into the night. The villagers, having heard the old legends of the mysterious snakeman who was said to roam the forests at night, were wary. Some believed that the snakeman was a guardian spirit who protected the village from evil, while others whispered that he was a demon who preyed on the unwary. She fell in love with a snake, and this happened. In the city of Ibadan, there lived a young woman named Favor Aramide, a vibrant 25-year-old who had a heart as warm as the sun and a smile that could light up the darkest night. But despite her radiant personality, Favor carried a burden that weighed heavily on her soul. A chronic sleepwalking condition that plagued her since childhood. Every night, without fail, Favor would rise from her bed, her eyes open but unseen, and wander aimlessly through the night until she eventually collapsed from exhaustion. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Aramide, had tried everything to help their beloved daughter. Doctors, pastors, imams, and even traditional herbalists, but nothing could cure her. The Aramides lived in constant fear for Favor's safety. Every night, they would lock all the doors and windows, hide the keys, and take turns watching over her to prevent her from slipping out into the dangerous streets. Despite their efforts, the strain of the situation was evident. Favor felt like a burden to her parents, who were growing weary from sleepless nights and constant worry. She loved them dearly, and it pained her to see them suffer on her behalf. One evening, after a particularly difficult night, Favor made a decision. She could no longer be a source of pain for her parents. She approached them, her voice steady but laced with sadness, and asked if she could go live with her maternal grandmother in the village of Ijaya. She believed that the peace and quiet of the village, away from the chaos of the city, might do her some good. Her parents, though reluctant, understood her reasoning and agreed. The next day, Favor packed her bags and set off for Ijaya, hoping to find solace in the simplicity of village life. Ijaya was a small, close-knit community nestled in the heart of the forest. The villagers were kind and welcoming, and they all knew of Favor's condition. They were asked to keep an eye on her to ensure that she was safe should she manage to slip past her grandmother during one of her sleepwalking episodes. The villagers, though puzzled by her condition, were sympathetic and did their best to help. Despite the change of scenery, Favor's sleepwalking continued. Every night, she would find a way to escape her grandmother's watchful eye and wander into the night. The villagers, having heard the old legends of the mysterious snakeman who was said to roam the forests at night, were wary. Some believed that the snakeman was a guardian spirit who protected the village from evil, while others whispered that he was a demon who preyed on the unwary. The legend had been passed down through generations, but no one alive had ever seen the snakeman, and so the story had become more of a myth than a reality. One fateful night, Favor's sleepwalking led her deep into the forest, far beyond where she had ever ventured before. As she wandered, she suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over her. Her feet, which had been moving aimlessly, stopped. Before her stood a man, tall and regal, with an air of mystery about him. He introduced himself as Akombi, and with a gentle touch, enchanted Favor into a deep, restful sleep. For the first time in years, Favor slept soundly through the night, undisturbed by the usual restlessness that plagued her. When Favor awoke the next morning, she found herself lying on a soft bed of leaves under a massive Iroko tree. Akombi was there, watching over her with kind eyes. He explained to her that it could cure her sleepwalking, but in order to do so, she would need to come and see him every fortnight to perform a ritual that would keep the condition at bay. Desperate for a solution, Favor readily agreed, unaware she was speaking to the fabled snakeman of legend. As the weeks passed, Favor kept her visits to Akombi a secret. She found herself looking forward to their meetings, not just because of the relief they brought her, but because she had begun to develop feelings for the enigmatic man who had brought peace to her troubled nights. Akombi too seemed to enjoy their time together, and soon, what had started as a necessary ritual blossomed into something deeper. Under the shade of the Iroko tree, they would talk for hours, laughing and sharing stories, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. One day, Favor, curious about Akombi's life, asked him why he chose to live alone in the forest. Akombi smiled sadly and told her that he felt more at home among the trees and animals than he did among people. He did not elaborate, and Favor, sensing his reluctance, did not press further. She was content just to be with him. And as time went on, she realized that she had fallen deeply in love with him. Akombi had not only cured her sleepwalking, but had also filled the void in her heart that she hadn't even known existed. However, in a small village like Ijaya, secrets were hard to keep. One evening, a curious young woman in her mid-20s who had noticed Favor's frequent trips to the forest decided to follow her. She trailed Favor to the clearing where she met with Akombi and watched in shock as the two of them sat together, laughing and talking like lovers. The woman's mind raced as she remembered old legends of the snakeman, and she quickly concluded that Favor was consulting with a demon. Without hesitation, the woman ran back to the village and spread the news. The villagers, already fearful of the snakeman, were outraged. They believed that Favor had been bewitched and was now a witch herself. They gathered sticks, torches and weapons and marched towards the forest, determined to save their village from the evil that they believed had taken hold of Favor. As the mob approached the clearing, Favor and Akombi were startled by the sound of angry voices and the flickering light of torches. The villagers burst into the clearing, their faces twisted with fear and anger. Favor stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest as the villagers surrounded her and Akombi. They accused her of being a witch and consorting with demons, and demanded that she burned at the stake to cleanse the village of her evil influence. Terrified, Favor tried to explain. She told the villagers that Akombi had cured her sleepwalking and that they had fallen in love. She pleaded with them to understand, to see that Akombi was not a demon but a kind and gentle soul who had only helped her. But the villagers, blinded by fear and jealousy, would not listen. They seized Favor and Akombi, tying them to the trees as they prepared to set the clearing ablaze. Just as the first flames began to lick at the dry leaves on the ground, Akombi spoke. His voice was calm but carried a weight of power that silenced the mob. Favor, he said, his eyes filled with sorrow. I am sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but I am the almighty snakeman, the protector of the seven forests and every village around. I have since cured you of your illness, and you didn't need to come and see me every fortnight. I only said so because I enjoyed your company, but now I am in love with you. Will you come with me and live in the forest forever? Or will you join these villagers and never see me again? As he finished speaking, Akombi began to change. Before the villagers' eyes, he transformed into a massive cobra, his body as thick as the trunk of an Iroko tree, and his scales glistening like polished bronze. The villagers gasped in horror, dropping their torches as they stumbled backward in fear. The cobra towered over them, its eyes glowing with an ancient power. Favor, though shocked by Akombi's true form, did not waver. She looked into the eyes of the mighty snake and knew that her love for him was stronger than any fear. "I will go with you, Akombi," she said softly, her voice steady. "I love you, and I will stand by your side, no matter what form you take." With that, Favor climbed onto the back of the giant cobra. Akombi, in his snake form, hissed at the villagers, his voice reverberating through the clearing like thunder. "I spare you this time because of Favor, but if you ever try to harm her or anyone else I care for, I will burn this entire village to the ground." The villagers, trembling with fear, turned and fled back to Ijaya, their hearts pounding in their chests. They had seen the power of the snakeman and they knew they could not stand against him. Favor and Akombi watched them go, the flames in the clearing dying out as the villagers disappeared into the night. With the threat gone, Akombi slithered deeper into the forest, taking Favor with him to his hidden lair. There, they lived in harmony, away from the prying eyes of the world. Over time, Favor gave birth to children who were half human, half snake, inheriting their father's strength and their mother's kindness. Akombi eventually used his powers to turn Favor into a snake as well, so that they could live together forever, free from the judgments of the world. Together, they ruled the forests, protecting the creatures that lived there and ensuring that the balance between the human world and the spirit world was maintained. The villagers of Ijaya never ventured into the forest again, knowing that the snake man was watching over them. And so, the legend of the snake man continued, but now it was a story of love, acceptance, and the power of choosing one's own path. Favor's tale became a reminder to the people of Ijaya, and to all who heard it, of the power of love and the importance of accepting others for who they truly are, regardless of their differences or the fears that might arise from those differences. It taught them that love could transcend even the most daunting of barriers, whether they be physical, cultural, or supernatural. Favor's choice to stand by Akombi, despite his true form, and the villagers' judgment, became a symbol of courage and the strength of the human heart. She showed that love is not about conforming to societal expectations or yielding to the fears of others, but about embracing the truth of one's own feelings and standing by those we care for, no matter the cost. In the years that followed, the story of Favor and Akombi spread far beyond the village of Ijaya, becoming a legend in its own right. It was told by storytellers across the land, not as a tale of horror or fear, but as a beautiful reminder that love knows no bounds, and that the bonds we form can defy even the most ancient of legends. The villagers of Ijaya too were forever changed by the experience. They learned to be more accepting and less judgmental, to look beyond appearances and to understand that the world is filled with mysteries that cannot always be explained by simple logic or old beliefs. They installed mirrors in their homes and shops, not to catch glimpses of supernatural beings, but as a symbol of self-reflection and the need to see the world and each other more clearly. And so, the forest remained a place of mystery, guarded by Favor and Akombi, the snake man. The two of them, along with their children, continued to live in harmony, protecting the balance of nature and ensuring that the peace they had found together would last for generations to come. Their love, unwavering and eternal, stood as a testament to the power of acceptance, the strength of the human spirits, and the enduring truth that love, in its purest form, can conquer all. The end. We hope you enjoyed the story you just watched. Please subscribe to our channel and like this video, as it helps us create more videos like this for you to enjoy. Thank you.